Okay, so this story, it's a personal one. The kind that feels like it's being told in a hushed voice. It's a memory that is so incredibly vivid, so terrifying that it's almost hard to wrap your head around. And that's really the heart of it, isn't it? When something happens that just completely shatters your idea of what's normal. The person who lived through this, they insist every single word of this is how it went down. So let's set the scene. It all gets started on a totally normal weekend night. The kind of night a lot of us probably remember from being a kid. Comfortable, quiet, safe. Picture it, you're a kid, your parents finally let you stay up late. The whole house is dark, everyone's asleep, and it's just you kind of bathed in that cool flickering light from the TV. It feels like your own little private world. And in this house, there was always this background noise, this gentle kind of rhythmic creak of the old porch swing just moving in the breeze. It was the sound of home, the sound of safety. And right here, this is where it all starts to turn. That sound, it isn't random anymore. It's not the wind. It has a weight to it, a steady, deliberate rhythm that you only get when someone is actually sitting out there, rocking back and forth.
You know that feeling when a familiar sound suddenly feels wrong? That's what's happening. It's this mix of curiosity and just dread. He knows he has to get up. He has to go look.
You can just imagine him walking across that dark living room, right? Your heart starts beating a little faster. You're trying to tell yourself it's nothing, but that little voice in the back of your head is screaming that something is definitely off. He gets to the window, presses his face up against the glass to see, and there she is. Not some monster, not a ghost, but a person. Just an older woman sitting right there where nobody should be.
The details start to slowly come into focus, and honestly, they just make the whole thing even more bizarre. It's late, it's dark, and there's a woman on their porch swing dressed like she just got out of bed. But then comes the one detail that takes this from just strange to absolutely terrifying.
That white nightgown? Well, it wasn't really white anymore. It was stained, completely drenched in red. In that one instant, time just freezes. Every normal, rational explanation just vanishes. I think the calmness of it all is what's so horrifying. She's not yelling, she's not being aggressive, she's just sitting, rocking gently, and holding a massive kitchen knife in her hands. That contrast is it's bone-chilling. I mean, when you see something that impossible, it just breaks your brain a little bit. The only thing you can think to do is run. Find an adult. Find someone who can make it make sense. He said he couldn't even get words out. It was just pure primal screaming. The kind of terrified sound a kid makes when they see something their mind just can't, process.
And his father's reaction is, well, it's anger, disbelief. From a parent's point of view, they're half asleep, it's got to be a nightmare. But for the kid, that dismissal is almost as scary as the woman on the swing, because now he's totally alone with this horrible secret.
So the dad, he's angry, he's fed up, and he decides he's going to put an end to this nonsense right now. He literally grabs his son's arm and starts dragging him to the front door to show him that there's nothing there. You can just feel the dread building with every single step. So this is it. This is the moment where the nightmare is about to collide with reality. Everything just slows down. The sound of the lock turning, the door creaking open, it all just hangs in the air. Those are the words of a man who is 100% sure he's about to be proven right. He swings the door open with all this confidence, ready to say, "I told you so." But the words they die in his throat. The narrator says he will never, ever forget the look on his father's face. Just pure shock. Because the woman isn't just real. As the door opens, she stands up, still clutching that knife, and she looks directly at them. The nightmare is real, and now it's staring them both down. And that switch from disbelief to action, it's instant. It's just slam, lock, call 911, and get the gun. The father's brain finally catches up to what his eyes are seeing, and the entire house just explodes into this controlled chaos. With the door just cracked open, enough for the shotgun barrel to stick through, the father shouts the only question he can think of, and his voice is just this mix of terror and aggression, just cutting through the night. And her reply is just, surreal. It's calm. It's a statement of fact that explains everything and absolutely nothing at the same time. Then, hearing the police sirens getting closer, she lets out a scream, raises the knife, and just walks away into the darkness.
So the immediate danger is gone, but the fear, man, that is still hanging thick in the air. The night is definitely not over, and the questions are really just getting started.
The police did find her about 15 minutes later, actually trying to get into another house. His dad had called his brother who lived next door, and his uncle was literally waiting on his own porch with a shotgun when she walked by. And the impact of that night, it was permanent. That living room, once a safe space, was never the same again.
It actually took years before he got any kind of real explanation. His mom finally told him what they'd pieced together. It wasn't a ghost story, but it was a deeply tragic one. The woman was having a severe mental health crisis, had stopped her medication, and had spiraled into violence. A complete, heartbreaking loss of reality.
And this is the part that just sticks with you. Even knowing the logical, tragic reason behind it all, that emotional scar is still there. That once comforting sound is now forever linked to a memory of just absolute terror.
It's amazing how our brains can just burn a sound into a feeling so powerfully that you can never separate them again. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What sounds from your own life aren't just sounds anymore, but echoes of a moment that you'll never, ever forget.